Hey, and welcome to my journey. Today's video is part 4 of the road to bariatric surgery. This will be the last one because these were my 2 pre-op visits, and the next thing on that road is the surgery. So what I did this week, yesterday I went for my last surgeon visit, and today for my pre-op nutritionist visit. The surgeon, it went so fast. It's just a let's touch base before we actually do the surgery. Let's make sure this is what we're going to do. So we're doing the gastric bypass, and he's going to fix my hiatal hernia at the same time. And most of the talking was done by the nurse. She went through everything, all your medicines, all the questions, everything they need to know. And then he comes in, and he walked in the door, and the first thing he says, "Are you ready to rumble?" I said, "Yes." If you're new, it's October the 4th. And so I had a chance to ask questions, and I couldn't think of anything. Yeah, I have questions now. I have plenty of questions now, but just sitting there, and I didn't write them down before I went. It slipped up on me. I didn't write them down, so I didn't have anything ready, prepared. So that kind of gets on my own nerves. But he told me what to do about certain medications to stop, or when to take, or when not to take. And then the nurse, she gave me this whole sheet of the day before surgery and the morning of surgery. So these are the things you have to do. These are the things that I have to do in my case. And let me tell you, if you're following along with my pre-op diet, you know that I'm having 2 coffees a day because I like low-fat creamer in my coffee. Oh, can you see that? There's no cream in that coffee. This is a hazelnut cream flavor, and it's black. And I am trying to drink it. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. But I like to have coffee when I'm on here with y'all. I feel like it's like when you smoked, like I used to smoke, quit in 2005. There's certain things you do that you associate with smoking. Sitting and talking to y'all, I associate drinking coffee with that. So, hold on. So that's what I do with y'all. I mean, it's okay. I can deal with it just to get my coffee fix on. But these are the things that I have to do. Your mileage may vary, as they say. So the day before surgery, take a dose of milk of magnesia, and they give you a time because they want to try to help move things if you can. Then there's this cleaner, this antiseptic cleaner called Hibiclens, and you take a shower with it the evening before the surgery. Then there's a patch you have to put behind your ear. You put behind your ear, and after you shower with it, that you put it on after you shower. And then it tells me when I can take my omeprazole the night before, not the morning. And then that is it. There's a sugary drink that you're supposed to drink before the surgery, but if you have diabetes, you don't take that. So I didn't get that in our nutrition class today. Then the morning of surgery. Okay, well, let's see. Nothing to eat or drink after midnight, with the exception of medications you are instructed to take by your physician at your pre-op visit, and the Ensure pre-surgery drink, which I don't take. And I know which medications I can take. The morning of the surgery, shower with that Hibiclens one more time, put on another patch, take a prescription they give you, and they give you several prescriptions to help with nausea. Take that and take my medications that I'm allowed to take of my prescriptions. And then they have several after your surgery medications. One of them is Lovenox. I guess that's how you say it. And it's to prevent blood clots, and it's an injection. I think she said, what did she tell me? You might take it 2 times a day for 2 weeks, something like that. I'm not looking forward to that. I got a feeling, she said it's a small needle, but I got a feeling it's bigger than the Ozempic because it's a syringe. I got a feeling it's not a pen. You click it, just, it's a syringe. And so I feel like the needle's going to be big, and I'm going to have a hard time with that. I can tell you right now. And then they give you a care after your bariatric surgery sheet. Food and drink, bowels, medicine, activity, pain control, incision, and other little things. let's see. Yeah, the activity part, it says keep moving around after surgery. This will help keep you from getting a lung infection or a blood clot. You should be up and walking at least 5 minutes every 2 hours. You only need to do this while awake. You mean I can't sleep while You can walk on the stairs, up a hill, or go to the gym after surgery. You may be a little sore while doing this, but it will get better. The goal is to stay active. So I will get up and walk around the house. They also say because they fill your stomach area up with gas, so that gas has got to come out somewhere. And on the Facebook group, a lot of people are complaining about how much that hurts, and everybody's saying just walk. That will help expel it. So that will be something to think about. And then he says, okay, we'll see you that day. That's all we did for the surgeon's pre-op visit. So that was, it was easy. And I have lost weight. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you to weigh in on Tuesday, but I've lost weight on this pre-op diet. Yes, I have. Now, the next thing I did today was go to the nutritionist, and it was a class. There were 7-Ups in it, and they had it out in the waiting room. It's a big waiting room. There's like a whole side area, so we were over there. Let me tell you, everybody must have been scared to talk except me. I was asking questions and commenting and putting in my 2 cents. I wanted to get something from the class. I wasn't going to sit there like a bump on a log. So I did. What we did, for the most part, was go over our sheet that we already have here. She went over and explained some things. Now, I've already explained my pre-op diet. And the pre-op diet is to shrink the liver. And she explained that the liver is where glucose is stored, and that's what makes it swell up, I suppose, is a good word to use. So taking that away from it shrinks it and helps it get out of the way of what they're trying to do when they do the surgery. Now, here's something that I thought was interesting. She said it doesn't help to drink 2 protein drinks back to back. She said you can only absorb about 30 grams of protein at a time. So that's something interesting for everybody to know. If you're like really hardcore on the protein, you really can't absorb more than 30 grams. So just watch that you only have that much. You would have, now, protein drinks that I got are between 20 and 30 grams per serving. So that's easy to get. But in food, like 1 ounce of chicken, it says on here is 6.25 ounces. So that would be, that'd be, let's say 5 ounces. And then you're good to go on your protein requirements of what you can absorb. And then also, which I knew there'd be no straws afterwards. And here she stressed, consider eating on smaller plates and bowls and use smaller utensils. She said you need to find some utensils that will hold dime-sized pieces of food, because she said that's what you're going to be eating, dime-sized pieces. So I stopped at the Dollar Tree, because I was down that way to stop at the other Dollar Tree I like to go to look in the baby section, and I found these. I think that looks like a dime-sized piece. Well, they didn't have any forks, so I went on Amazon and I found some toddler forks that are stainless steel, so they would be able to pick up green beans or asparagus or things like that I can't get up on this spoon. So those will be my smaller utensils. And I have little small bowls. I have little small plates. Now, the next thing, this is another thing I thought was interesting. We were talking about the protein. When you weigh like your chicken or whatever your protein is, your meat, she said weigh it raw, because that's where the protein numbers are based on. It's not based on cooked. It's based on raw. So if I need 2 ounces of chicken, I need to get 2 ounces of chicken raw. if it shrinks up, it loses water, whatever it loses, and it comes out to be 1.5 ounces, well, then it's 1.5 ounces. But you start with it raw. And I thought that was very interesting. So there's another little tidbit that is good for anybody, not just somebody having surgery. That's good for anybody that's counting their protein. So she was giving us some good information. I'm just kind of going, we've gone through this paperwork before. So I was just kind of going over the extra. Here is another thing. Calcium citrate. That's the kind of calcium we have to use, and we have to do that and a multivitamin for the rest of our life. We have to. She said 600 milligrams of the calcium is all your body will absorb at one time. So that's why you have to break up your doses. They want you to take, 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams a day. So depending on the size of your pill, will depend on how often a day you have to take it. So you got a 500 milligram pill, that's 3 times a day. So that's 5, 10, 15. 600, 2 times a day. This also I learned because I take iron because I'm iron anemic. Iron and calcium must be taken 2 hours apart because I forgot what she said. This is something, they don't jive, put it that way. They don't jive. So that's why they've got a sample schedule here for the sleeve or the bypass. They have a different schedule for the switch. I'm doing the bypass. So 8 a.m. your calcium, 10 a.m. your multivitamin, 12 p.m. calcium, 4 p.m. calcium. That's if you have to take it 3 times a day. How many of you have to take it, then you have to figure it out to where it is 2 hours away from your iron. And so I will have to figure that out with my extra iron supplement because I've already looked at, ordered my vitamins. I've already looked, and I know they don't have the amount that is being prescribed to me. I did ask today to make sure. I've been prescribed certain vitamins, and as long as the amount that's prescribed is in that multivitamin, I don't have to take that extra pill. That'll be a couple pills. Well, yeah, that'll be a couple pills off of me, and I'll still have to take my iron because it's nowhere close to what I need. So I thought that was interesting about that. Now, we talked about our vitamins, and she gave us a multivitamin chew. They have 2 different brands of chews that she had, and she was passing out samples. And she had like fruity ones, and she had chocolate, right? So I'm like, well, I'll take chocolate. Whatever chocolate, I'll take that one. Well, I was chewing it, and people on the Facebook group say, oh, wait, they say the chocolate one tastes like a Tootsie Roll. Didn't taste like no Tootsie Roll I ever did have. So I didn't really care for it. And she was asking, well, how do y'all like it? Everybody's like, oh, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. I'm like, I don't like it. And the girl beside of me, she's like, it's okay. I wasn't going to sugarcoat it. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and lie and say, oh, it's wonderful when it's not. So I'm glad I chose the pills that you have to swallow. I figure the whole mess of pills that I got to take, what is a few more vitamins going to add to it? Nothing. So that was one of the questions I asked when we were talking about swallowing pills. How do I swallow mine? Because what I take in the morning is a handful. I mean, it's one big whopping handful. And then the midday is a little smaller, and nighttime is the smallest. So if you can only eat or drink a quarter cup at a time, I got a quarter cup. I probably got a half a cup of pills. No joke. The size of some of them probably gives me a half a cup of pills to pop back. And of course I got to guzzle some drink with that. She said they would tell me that at the hospital. She said he'll probably take you off some of your medications, which I have heard, is the case, your diabetes medications, because they say, and he even said the other times that I met with him, he says, we as doctors don't even know why. He said, but it cures your diabetes. So hopefully I'll get to come off 2 of those. Then, yeah, we talked about our protein drinks, and we've already talked about how much should be 20 carbs or 20 grams of protein or more, and 5 grams of carbs or less. So we talked about that. And then we just got some brands of protein drinks. You can have clear protein drinks. they're not as high in protein as the milk kind, or the whey, which the protein drink I'm going to get is whey. So, but they're not as high as the what they call full protein drinks or powders. But you can still have them. Then they got you this shake up your protein drink. There is a whole, I'll let you look at that. Screenshot it if you want to. Recipes if you're just sick, because she said a lot of people experience a heightened sensation of their taste and their smell, and some things that, which we've talked about before, that you liked before surgery, after it, you're just like, get that away from me. She said, if you have problems smelling something, she said, put your protein drinks in something that when you drink it, your nose doesn't go down in it, so you can't smell it while you're drinking it, because you can't have a straw. So that was a good tip. But these are recipes to change it up in case you're just like sick of the thing, or you can't take the flavor of it. And she even said to do what I did with Premier Protein. And it's so funny, she used Premier Protein as an example, that if you don't like that, she said, cut it down with some almond milk or some water. She said, well, how much ever you need to put in it, just make sure you drink it all. So, like we were talking about, the other one told me if you have to put it in 32 ounces of coffee to get it down, just drink it all and you're fine. You still get all the protein. You can water your protein drink down as much as you want to. You can put as much almond milk in it or regular milk in it, whatever you're counting. If you're counting calories, if you're not counting anything, you can put anything you want in your protein drink and water it down as much as you want to. Just be sure to drink it all. You can drink it out throughout the day, and as long as you drink it all, you've got the same amount of protein as if it was concentrated or just regular as it comes. So then we got to the post-op diet overview guidelines. Now, she said the post-op nutrition visit 2 week will talk all about eating the soft foods and the period foods. She said that's a whole other animal. So we didn't talk about that today. We talked about the liquids. And this is going to be the hard part. I told you before, if you tell me this is easy, pow pow to the kisser. When I show you this schedule, you're just going to be like, 1 to 2 ounces every 15 minutes, or 4 to 8 ounces per hour. Your goal is 48 to 64 ounces per day. And that's 1 to 2 ounces in a clip, right? And that's for 2 weeks, 14 days. Here is a sample. Where did it go? Where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone? I searched the world over and thought I found true love. You met another and you was gone. Somebody tell me what that come from. Here it is. This is on another piece. So let's see. And then this 30-30-30 rule, she said, you will do that forever. No drinking 30 minutes before your meal. No drinking during your meal for 30 minutes. And no drinking 30 minutes after your meal. That is to not fill up your stomach because it's so small. You need to get that protein in there. She said, and it will, if you drink while you're eating, it will wash that protein down so fast that you have no time to get the nutrients from it. So that's why. And she said that is forever. Now, let's see. The last. Okay, well, that's where we talk about drinking after surgery. And then dumping syndrome, low blood sugar. She did say sugar-free sauces are okay. She said if you need to doctor up your food to make it taste better, she says sugar-free sauces are good. She said G. Hughes makes some good ones. Yeah, she did. So that's good to know that I can still have ketchup. The high sugar-free is actually really good, so I will be getting me some of that. The things that cause the dumping syndrome. Okay. I'm going to read this to you. This is dumping syndrome. Simple sugars, sweets, too many carbs at one time, and or high fat content can cause dumping syndrome. High blood sugar, followed by very low blood sugar. Symptoms of dumping syndrome include blurred vision, shaking, sweating, dizziness, heart racing, and in some cases diarrhea, nausea, and or vomiting. That is why I do not plan to go back to the way I ate before. I don't want to experience dumping. I'm sure there'll be some time or other that I will experience it, because as you experiment with foods, you don't know what's going to set with you or not. What will settle down with somebody else might not settle down with me. So I don't want to experience it, but I feel like it's going to come a time when, while I'm trying to figure out what I can eat, it will happen. But she says, as a rule, try to keep sugar out of the first 3 ingredients. And that's talking about all the, dextrose and high fructose corn syrup, glucose, sucrose, which is table sugar, brown sugar, molasses, light or heavy syrup found in canned fruits, agave, and honey. All that counts as sugar. Yes, honey has good properties for you, but when you're just talking about sugar, there's times you have to differentiate what you're trying to accomplish. So if you're trying to get the health benefits of honey, then eat honey. If you're trying to stay away from sugar, don't eat honey. So you can't just say, you have to eat honey. Honey's good for you. Well, not in this instance if you're trying to stay away from sugar. So there's not just like this big blanket thing where you say a little bit of sugar is not going to hurt. Well, in this case, a little bit of sugar might hurt. So it's all relative, I guess you could say. So it just gives you a list of some of the foods that it says that may could cause the dumping syndrome. Now this is, okay. Measure your sips. It can be helpful to use 2-ounce portion cups, a 1/4 cup measuring cup, or the medicine cups they give you in the hospital to measure your sips. There is a sample schedule. It says, wake up in the morning, go get your water, protein drink, and heat up some broth. Capital letters, do not go back to bed. This encourages napping. If we are napping, we are not sipping. Get up and walk around at least 1 time every hour. If you are getting dry mouth, get ice chips or sugar-free popsicles for between sips. If you need to add flavor to the water, please do so, as long as it is 10 calories or less per 8 ounces. So this is, you have to sip it slowly. She told us, take your little 1 to 2 ounces, 15 minutes to get that down. And then after that 15 minutes is over, then you go to your next 1 or 2 ounces. And that 15 minutes is over. You get the picture. She tells 2 friends, and she tells 2 friends, and she tells 2 friends. Y'all remember that commercial? Okay, so here it says, shows this starting at 8 o'clock and ending at 10:45, which is going to be hard for me. I'll probably start when I wake up in the morning. Since I go to bed so early, I'll start early because it's the same amount of time, waking hours, and I'm going to have to work on that napping, I'll tell you that much. But I'm going to show you a sample schedule of what you're supposed to drink. Post-op. That's for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, all day long. She said, you're just going to be sipping. And that's all you can do is sip. You can't knock it back. Even though it's only 1 to 2 ounces, you can't knock it back. You have to sip it. And then she did give us a handout. Well, she gave us 2 handouts. One is about the Facebook group, which I'm a member of, and then one is virtual support. They have once a month virtual support meetings, which I have not been to one yet, but I will plan to go. And then she gave us a handout, mental health preparedness. It's 1, 2, 3 pages of while we talk about it, obesity, gaining weight back after weight loss, everyone will have a different weight loss journey. You don't need to have weight loss surgery to know some of these things are helpful to you. Obesity, it gives you the many traits, family traits, the setting around you, your environment, having other health problems or conditions, medicines that can cause weight change, our way of life and thinking. And a lot of that applies to me. And then gaining weight back after weight loss. This says surgery is only a tool, which I know that, and I need this tool. I need a stronger tool than the ones that are in my arsenal right now. Everyone will have a different weight loss journey. Try not to compare yourself to others. You cannot compare your journey to my journey, and vice versa. You can't compare your journey to Sally Ann down the street, because Sally Ann is not you. Sally Ann has different reasons why she's obese and different ways that she's trying to lose her weight, just like you are. And if somebody's losing weight faster than you are, don't compare yourself. There's people I see out there that drop weight just as easy as dropping a tater on the floor. Where that analogy came from, don't ask me. Well, I bet it's because I'm wanting a tater. I'm wanting a tater so bad. I want a carb is what I'm wanting. I ain't eating a carb. I ain't doing it. I'm doing what I'm supposed to and get myself ready for surgery. I don't want any complications in surgery because my liver's too big and fat in the way. No. I'm doing what I got to do. And then before surgery, this is also good for before weight loss. Write down a list of reasons why you're having surgery and your goals for after. That applies to any weight loss journey. This is a good one for anybody too. Have an answer ready for when people ask about changes to your body from surgery. Have an answer ready. You know, some of us, and I don't mean me, I mean y'all. Some of us have lost a lot of weight and nobody's noticed. But then some people say, oh, have you lost weight? What did you do? Have your answer ready. Tell them what you want them to know. Don't tell them any more than what you want them to know. You don't have to give them the gory details of what you did. I don't have to tell anybody that I had weight loss surgery if I don't want them to know, because frankly, it's none of their business. Now I'm telling y'all because this is part of my journey, and part of what I do this YouTube channel for is to share my journey with you, and y'all share your journey with me. That's what we're here for. But anybody on the street, any friends, whatever, if I don't want them to know, I don't owe them anything. You don't owe anybody any explanation for what you do or why you do it. Let's get that straight. You don't owe anybody any explanation for what you do or why you do it. As Gordon Ramsay would say, let's just get that straight right there. Then create new lifelong habits that are going to keep the weight off. That's something else that we can do, whether we're having surgery or not. We've got to create these habits that are going to keep that weight from creeping back up on us. The things you eat, the exercises you do, whatever it is that helps you lose that weight, learn to maintain it, to maintain your weight. This also, they do talk about sleep, and I got my CPAP machine, but I'm still only sleeping 3, 4, or 5 hours a night. And I've got to call and make my appointment with the sleep doctor. I just haven't done it yet. This is another one. See, these all go with any weight loss journey, not just surgery. Find fun activities to do without food. Change your routine with friends or family. That is a big one. We, and I do mean me in this case, I associate family gatherings with food. When we gather with food. Do we have to eat all the food? No, we don't. Do we have to pile our plates full of everything that is available? No. We can look over the table. Don't just start at the end of the table. Here's a tip from me. Church reunions, family reunions, church suppers, they line up. You don't have to be the first in line. If something gets gone, then it wasn't meant for you to have it. Don't worry about it. If that fried chicken is gone, then you weren't supposed to have that fried chicken. Don't sweat that fried chicken. It would behoove you, I like that word, to go and scan the table, see what options there are, and don't put food on your plate until you get to that option. when you start out and you see something that looks good, don't start piling your plate full, because guess what's going to happen when you get to the end of that line? Your plate's going to be mound over. And guess what? When you sit down with that plate in front of you, what's going to happen? You are going to eat every blasted bite of it. I know that because that was me. If it's on my plate, I'm going to eat it. So if you're at a small party, a small gathering, just kind of get a lay of the land, kind of see what they got, know what to pick and choose, and go for that. Don't put other stuff on your plate. So those are some things. Here's another one. Transfer addiction. Feelings of not eating enough to meet your food cravings. And she told us this. She said, your food cravings, your addiction to food, transfer to things such as alcohol, shopping, or gambling. She said, this feeling should not be ignored. Do not ignore the fact that you are taking your feelings for food and putting it somewhere else. That is what addiction does. I have told y'all before on several occasions that I have an addictive gene, and I believe 100% in addictive genes, and it comes from my father. It just does. Now, I don't need to tell you what he was addicted to. A couple things. I have that addictive gene. I have always been addicted to something. And the most something, I don't need to tell you what all it is. You can use your wildest imagination if you want to. Food was the biggest and most prevalent. It would be one thing, and then it would always return to food. So when we go on that healthy lifestyle and we stop trying to be addicted to the food, then we got to watch ourselves of where we're going to put that addiction on something else. And that's when we have to start seeking help. Alcohol. This is just something about alcohol. This is after surgery. This would just apply to surgery. She said she said you don't want to drink. She said you really don't want to drink until like 8 months post-op. She said because your stomach is so small, it doesn't have the enzymes to break down the alcohol the way it should. And so basically you could get crocked really fast. She said, don't drink in public. Don't drink and drive, obviously. She said, if you're going to drink, be at home. Which I don't drink, so I don't have that problem. But I just thought it was interesting that you can't break down the alcohol because the part of your stomach with those enzymes is all blocked off. Depression. There's a lot of mental, physical, and emotional changes happening in a short period of time. That is something that I've heard a lot of. Your hormones, I guess, get all messed up, and you can go through all these feelings. And that's where several of you have said, counseling. And she gave us, it's the list that we use to get our psychological counseling. People that we can call to go see. And that would be up to us. They don't have set classes other than these virtual things, but that's not a one-on-one. So they give you names that you can go see, and it would be on your of your own volition to do it. They're not going to do it for you. Body dysmorphia, believing that something is wrong with the way you look. Let me get a sip of water. Coffee. I'm sure this is talking. Let me read it right quick. They just talk about being healthier. Think about the reason your body is good. Being healthier, like having blood sugars under control and being off blood pressure medicines, being able to do things you couldn't do before. Some of these, like crossing your legs and walking upstairs without feeling out of breath. Oh, hold on just a minute. I must decline that call. I am busy. I tell y'all, I don't care what size you are. You better strut your stuff, and you better know that you are fine the way you are. Well, if that's the case, why are we trying to lose weight? It's not about the physical part that I'm talking about. I'm talking about this right here. Whatever all this looks like, you got to have it up here and in here that you're worthy and you are fine the way you are. If you want to lose weight, that's fine. You got your reasons, and that's all good. But the whole time that you go through that journey, you think of yourself as queen bee. I got that coffee cup that says queen bee. I've told y'all before, put your little tiara on and strut down that street like you are somebody, because you are somebody. And I'm sure this is talking about as we lose weight after the surgery, and it is going to, come off really fast. Well, it may not. It may come off slow for some people, but it's going to come off faster than without the tool of the surgery. You're going to look at yourself, and this is for regular weight loss too. You'll lose weight, and I've heard so many people talk about it. When I look in the mirror, I still see that fat girl. And I can say fat girl because I am a fat girl. Our body's full of fat. What's the big deal? Your body might actually look a certain way, but you have that dysmorphia that when you look in the mirror, you still see the old you. And so it's just talking about, thinking about those other things to try to get you off of that. And then hunger versus cravings. You may not feel true hunger for weeks or even months after surgery. Use this time wisely to help make healthy eating patterns. Distract yourself to beat cravings. This can be for everybody too. Do something healthy for 10 minutes to distract yourself. For example, drink water, fold laundry, or call a friend. This will allow time for the craving to pass. This does say reach out to a mental health professional early on if you're struggling. So and I know this is a very long video, but it's a lot of things for not just me, for anybody on a weight loss journey. Some things, apply to just me. Some things apply to all of us. So that is where I'm at now. The surgeon visit, the nutritionist visit. The next thing, I don't know how I'm going to film it. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to try to get in there as much as I can with the right before the surgery, how I'm feeling and all this and that. So maybe in the hospital room, I'll see. That's all I know. So anyway, that is it today. Part 4, the road to bariatric surgery. Next stop, operating room. I'm so excited. I can't see straight. I'm ready. Joan asked me, are you nervous? I said, no, I'm not nervous. I'm ready. I'm so ready to start this next chapter of my life. It is just so exciting to think of all the possibilities that are out there. I have my book, my OWL book, and I have a bucket list of things that me and David are going to do. I told him, I said, I'm going to run you ragged and spend all your money, so you better start saving it now. He said, oh boy. I got all kinds of things we're going to do. All the money he hadn't had to spend over these past how many ever years that I hadn't been able to walk, he's fixing to spend it. He got a car, I'm getting life. I think that's a good deal. He got what he wanted, and I'm going to get what I want. So that'll do it for me today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.